Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today and hope you're enjoying the holidays if you're fortunate enough to have some time off. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 38, which is the gate of the fighter. Okay, so we've got the gate, Sun Gate 38 this week. It starts midday on December 31st, New Year's Eve, and it goes until January 5th, very late in the day. So that's Friday. And the Earth is in gate 39, which is called provocation. So they're both coming off the root. They're both down here. 38 is off the left side of the root, and the 39 is provocation. That's off the right side of the root. And the 39 happens to come together with the 55, which is in Saturn right now. And so because the 39 is in the Earth all week and the 55 will stay in Saturn for the rest of the week, this entire panel will be defined. And that means that most of us will feel emotional and then because of the root, most of us will feel grounded. So because of the solar plexus being defined, we'll feel a little more emotional perhaps. And then with the root being defined, we'll feel a little more grounded. So that's probably a good way to start the year. It's up to you. But that's part of what's going on at the beginning, the first part of, like the 31st and the 1st. And then on the 2nd and 3rd, just for 2 days, we moved to having also the sacral and the G center defined because the 34 and 10 are both defined in the transits. And then in addition to having this, and then for the last 2 days, then Thursday and Friday, we go back to this where it stays emotional and the root center is defined. So it'll be a little bit of back and forth this week. You may or may not feel those energies, but if you're not usually sacrally defined, you might in fact feel that. And again, it's a nice little boost of energy perhaps to have for the brand new year. So the sign in gate 38 is called the fighter, or knowing what's worth fighting for. It's connected to the gate of struggle, the 28 in the channel, and it's called opposition or the fighter in the original I Ching. It's the ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. So basically knowing what's worth fighting for, getting through the struggles, and then figuring out what you really want to spend your time on. What's worth the arguments at the holiday tables? What's worth spending your time on and your energy and your money, your resources on? Not everything needs a fight. Not everything needs a struggle, and not everything's worth fighting for, right? It's based on your own values. And so you get to decide what's worth fighting for. And usually by, as we mature, let's say, we figure out what's worth fighting for and what is important to us and what battles we do want to take on and which ones we don't. In the incarnation crosses this week, we've got the crosses of tension. You can imagine with being a fighter and provocation, it's the cross of tension, opposition, and individualism. And then in quantum human design, we call it the visionary. On the Earth side, we've got the gate 39, which is called provocation. It's obstruction or provocation in the original I Ching. It's literally about provoking other people to do the things that are in their best interest, usually. Now, it can be, your brother or sister teasing you when you were a kid, right? It can be that kind of provocation. But as we get older, it's more like a gentle nudge, perhaps some teasing, perhaps some reminders, perhaps some, subtle provocations, right? But usually, like coaches, a lot of coaches have this gate in their chart, and they use it to kind of, provoke or nudge the person that they're working with into or toward the goals that they say they have. And so, it can be, um, it can be good in a provocative way, or it can be provocative in a good way. Let's put it that way. So they call it the value of obstruction in provoking analysis, assessment, and reevaluation. So, right, it's that whole process of figuring out if things are really worth it, and perhaps figuring out if they're worth fighting for. So in the Gene Keys, provocation is the shadow, dynamism is the gift, and liberation is the CD. And then in quantum human design, the gate is called recalibration. So in the Gene Keys, for Gene Key 38, they call the shadow struggle. which is interesting because usually we call the 28, the gate 28 struggle. But here the shadow is struggle, the gift is perseverance, and the CD is honor. And so you can see again, kind of moving up the food chain, right? We go from struggle to perseverance and then to honor. And all with the idea that you're fighting for, you're learning what's worth fighting for. On the shadow side, on of struggle, we've got the repressive side being a kind of a defeatist attitude. The people who want or say they want to fight for what's worth fighting for, but they have a defeatist attitude, right? They don't ever think it's going to happen. There's no optimism there. There's nothing that really has them believe that they can achieve it, right? It might be a dream that's just out of their grasp. On the reactive side, it's more aggressive, right? You're trying to fight for what's worth fighting for, but you're doing it in a really aggressive and perhaps mean-spirited or nasty way. The gift is perseverance, and then the CD is honor. So the perseverance comes in because, you know, fighting for something that's worth fighting for doesn't necessarily happen immediately. And so we need the perseverance to enable us to keep on fighting, right? To keep on keeping on and to keep on with whatever that struggle is that we're trying to get past. And then the CD is honor, in that once you've achieved what you're fighting for, then there's honor in that, right? Because usually it's for a higher goal, higher perspective, higher ground, really something that's worth your while, right? Worth your time to get. In the graphics, he says the human spirit is indomitable. It loves to reach out and stretch and break new ground. And this is where we can, with the things that we're fighting for, reach new ground. There's always a struggle. He says in the lower graphic, struggle defines us, it sharpens us and hones us. It's a gift from the higher realms. So we're not here to necessarily have it easy, right? We're here to have the balances. We're here to have the ups and downs, and we're here to learn from all of them. And so those struggles are natural, and there's nothing wrong with having the struggles. It's just a matter of how we deal with them. Richard Rudd also says, if there's nothing left to fight for, you may cease to exist. I mean, really, these struggles are part of our everyday life. And he also says you're here to learn the difference between meeting obstacles and fighting resistance. And I think what he means between meeting obstacles versus fighting resistance is that you might have a struggle or have a cause that's worth fighting for, and you might come up against resistance versus something that you're just trying to achieve and you're meeting obstacles along the way. And I would suggest that meeting obstacles along the way are things to, get through. The fighting resistance can sometimes feel a little more personal and a little more long-term, and perhaps even, stop you sometimes from achieving your goals or achieving what you really want to fight for. He also says to honor someone is to hold them to their highest frequencies, no matter what current frequency may be, by seeing other people as we're in the fight. If we can see them at their highest frequency, we may be able to break through and come to some agreement. This is really deep. Gene Key, as you can imagine, knowing what's worth fighting for and fighting for it, and having the values to do that, and having the perseverance to do it, right? Having the determination and perseverance to do it, which to me also, kind of are some of the other traits that are in the chart in different places. With fighting for what's worth fighting for pulls in a lot of different energies. And so it's a complex one. It's not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that. I've got it in my chart, and it challenges me every day. So I'll leave it at that. So of course, a number of personalities born in this right angle cross of tension and opposition and individualism, and they're pretty complex characters, right? With this gate 38 and the gate 39, in the earth, they are what scientists, Isaac Asimov and Sir Isaac Newton, people who were who started the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, writers, J.D. Salinger, Simon Wiesenthal, um, and actors, of course, and singers, and all types of people, painters, artists. So it's but you can see the individuality, right, in each of them, um, and see that they were fighting for whatever was important in their lives, and kind of taking it to the as far as they could during their lifetimes, and sometimes having a tough go of it. It wasn't always easy for them. So that's who we've got this week, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve and a wonderful start to the new year, 2024. And it's a good time to, as we're in this, energy of what's worth fighting for. It's no accident that it comes at the beginning of the year. What are you worth? What is worth your time this year? Really, what do you want to spend your time and energy on? What do your values draw you to? What is important to you that you need to change up this year? Perhaps there's some things you need to leave behind. Perhaps there's some things that you need to add to your goals. And I saw a great thing about adding gentle goals this year. So, maybe see a few more sunsets, maybe walk in nature more often, maybe be sure to spend time with babies and cats and dogs and whoever, raises your vibration, so that you're always staying grounded and ready for the next fight. Take care. Have a great week and Happy New Year.